I want the bets from Betting Weekly, because we win, that is our motto. Sometimes we win, sometimes we don't win. Don't give us the bird, don't give us your stink eye. We try our best, and we're successful. Come watch our show. Bet River sponsors. It's time to start. Enjoy the show.
And a very good day to one and all. This is Betting Weekly Live. You're with Dan Roebuck alongside me, Tim Dennis. On the agenda today, we're going to be talking soccer. We've got live action coming away on the BetRivers app and the BetRivers website when it comes to soccer in Belgium. It's the opening weekend of the Belgian top flight. We're going to be talking MLS as well. Tough card tonight, but one standout play for me. And of course, we've got the Women's Euros and the final coming up on Sunday. We've covered it over the course of the tournament, so it would be remiss of us not to give you one or two plays when it comes to the final this weekend. Tim, a very good day to you. You are going to be talking tennis. We've got a couple of tournaments ongoing at the moment, both stateside.
Hi, Dan. Yeah, good afternoon to you and good morning to everyone in the States. A couple of tournaments in Washington going on at the moment. Men's and the women's are playing there. A couple of decent-looking events. Got to the quarterfinal stage. So, yeah, some exciting-looking games coming up.
Yeah, Tim's going to talk about three of the games. Also, just cast his eye when it comes to the futures prices as well. Plenty of bets struck over the course of the last 24 hours with our friends at BetRivers. Some sizable plays on the tennis as well here, Tim. These are live bets. These always amaze me. I would not go near these, but $37,000 play on Jessica Pegula, live set 2, which was a winner against Leylah Fernandez at minus 715. It's not the sort of price that I really look at. Also, Taylor Fritz on the money line at minus 370 to beat Matteo Arnaldi. $36,000 play, which was a winner as well. I mean, do you get the sense when you look at some of the tennis prices that these short ones are well backed? Do you get things that get well punted in, even though for the likes of you or me, we would never really look to things at sort of minus 400, minus 600 and so on?
Yeah, well, I mean, the Pegula bet has done well there because she actually lost the match. So he's got on her at least he's got on at the right market, really, because if he'd gotten her to win the match, he'd have done his money. So even though she was a short price to win that set, he's obviously got on and backed the winner. So yeah, well done to him. Or her.
Yeah, bit of an odd one really to pick out that particular set. Anyway, well done nonetheless. You collect on that one. When it comes to the soccer, plenty from South America. A $16,000 play on Sao Paulo, live double chance at minus 625 against Juventud, which was a winner. Also, Ecuador against Argentina. Copa America Feminine continues. And a $6,800 play on the next goal to be scored from inside the penalty area, which was a winner. Well done to that particular better as well. Also in the soccer closer to home in Europe in the qualifiers, Besiktas against Shakhtar, over 2.5 goals, a $4,000 play, which was a winner at minus 135. It's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, of course, these days at the Turkish side. But the BetRivers traders did pull a little bit back on the Lugano Cluj game, live over 0.5 goals at minus 154, which was a loser. So one or two big bets that we've highlighted over the course of the last 24 hours. Lots of you commenting at the moment. What have we got here? Leslie Mack was on before we started our broadcast. The first message of the show was Yarrow, Finnish side, both to score. Well, we had a quick look. 8 of the last 9 have been both teams to score. I don't want to say yes, it's a bet for me, but the stats would suggest that potentially that is the way to go. And also, Leslie suggesting here that they're going to play and look to get one of the 3 matches under 2.5 sets in the first 3 games in Washington. Has there been some easy wins? I guess that's what you're looking for if you're going under 2.5, Tim. Has there been some easy wins so far in the tennis in Washington?
Yeah, there's been a few, and I think what a contributing factor to perhaps that angle is the weather's been so hot there the last couple of days, and I think that's going to look set to continue. So, I mean, these early games that are starting. I think the first game on is Medvedev, and I think that's 7 o'clock our time, which is 2 o'clock Eastern time. So it's going to be the sort of heat of the day. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit cooler in the evening, but I think still fairly humid and still fairly slick conditions. So perhaps these guys that even at this quarterfinal stage, if it's going comfortable first set, these matches can be won in unders. So yeah, I wouldn't put him off there. But a few tight matches with it being quarterfinals. So a tricky one to really be a strong opinion of there.
Troy's in Washington. It's already 95 degrees. Supposed to get up to 100 degrees shortly. Crikey, that is very hot. Rick Haley, morning all. The real Brendan King. Let's go Lionesses Sunday? ? He puts. Do you think they're going to win? We'll cover that right at the end of the show. I text Lewis regarding a particular bet, and he says he's going to text me all the numbers regarding a bet that cashed in midweek that we think might cash again. So I'll run through that a little bit later on for you. Tristan says, good day, everyone. Also hoping for goals, did you say, Tristan? Did I see when it comes to the Antwerp game? Mikkel Monk says, afternoon all. Duncan says, afternoon, guys, as does Daniel and Stephen. Darderi straight sets for glove 44. Stephen from Lynn. Rusniak to score or assist in Major League Soccer for Seattle tonight. Enigma says, hello, boys. I want Tim's thoughts on Nakashima moneyline against Dominor. May as well get that now. I don't think it's one that you've got to play in. Have you got any sort of angle in? I'll let you have a quick think of that one before I run through one or two other comments, and then we'll get your answer. Tiafoe 2-0 says A. Says, hi, both. I backed Venus Williams to lose 2-0 and Buskova money line today. Ray says, good afternoon. Real Brendan King, shout out to Mr. Holden for tipping Venus not to win a set. Yeah, Tristan talking about goals in the Antwerp game. What about that shout for the Nakashima money line, Tim? Is that, I mean, it's not one of the games that you're looking at. Did you take a look and thought no bet? What's your thoughts?
Well, I had a brief look, and I watched Dimonor last night. Actually, he came through in a quite a long match against Lehechka, winning two tiebreak sets, and then was fairly comfortable in the final set there. And I wouldn't put him off. Nakashima's played really well these conditions so far, serving promisingly, and I don't think Dimonor's quite at his best or what you've seen him early on in the season. He spoke of fatigue previously before Paris, and then obviously he's played Wimbledon too, and he doesn't look to be, to my eye, quite as at his peak level. So I think they've only met once. Nakashima actually won that back in 2021. So he won't be afraid of Dimonor here, and I think if he's ever going to beat him, today's as good a chance as any.
Michael Marsden says, come on, guys, get into the picks. Less small talk. Sorry. What can I tell you? We'd just like to have a little bit of an intro, a bit of a chat. I've not spoken to Tim for ages. Sorry, Michael. That's just the way we roll sometimes. Let's give you some thoughts on the opening game of the Belgian Pro League tonight. It is Royal Antwerp against Union Saint-Gilloise. Union Saint-Gilloise are the champions, won the title for the first time in a long, long time. If you go back into the annals of Belgian football, they were one of the great teams of the sort of 20s and 30s, and they had a massive slip down through the leagues before being invested in by none other than Tony Bloom, who of course owns Brighton. Now, Tony's had to step back a little bit when it comes to Union Saint-Gilloise because they've done so well. They've qualified for Europe over the last few years, so he's not the majority owner anymore, but I still suspect that he might have some sort of input into how they go about their business. They are minus 110 to win away at Royal Antwerp tonight. This is a game that kicks off at 2:45. You can watch it on the Bet Rivers app and the Bet Rivers website. They won the title after winning 9 of the 10 games in the championship round. First title since 1935. And Sebastian Pogognoli, who was a left-back, played for West Brom and Brighton, amongst others, has stayed in charge for this season. Generally, over the last few years, USG have jettisoned their coach in the summer and got a new one in, but he has stayed around. I think they'll win. They've been bet today. When I was looking at the prices earlier today, they're around about plus 115. They've been punted into minus money and now minus 110. Antwerp haven't had a great time of things over the last few campaigns. They won the title under Andreas Ulderink a couple of years ago, but they dispensed with his services in the summer. Steph Wills is now in charge. He was the assistant to Ulderink, and now he gets a go as the first team coach. They've missed out on Europe over the last couple of seasons. They were denied in a playoff last year. So it's a transitional period for Antwerp. Plus 290 to win this game. I don't think they'll win. I think there's an interesting bet in the goal scorer market here. We have listed 6 players, and the interesting duo are Promise David and Franjo Ivanovic. Now, Franjo Ivanovic is much coveted. He scored the opener in the Belgian Super Cup final last weekend, but Union Saint-Gilloise were beaten by Club Brugge 2-1. Now, if you believe Twitter, and obviously you've got to take what you see on the social media platform with a huge pinch of salt, but if you believe it, he is on his way right now to sign from Benfica. Somebody's put up the plane manifesto, which plane he's on, when he's going to land in Lisbon, and he's going to sign for Benfica tomorrow. I suspect that he might not be in the squad tonight. If he is, obviously he's not going to sign, and Twitter's got it wrong, not for the first time. But the thing is, if he doesn't sign tonight or tomorrow, I think he's going to go regardless. And that will probably mean that the player that we saw there as the favourite to score at any time, which is Promise David at plus 155, will definitely start. Now, he was late back to Belgium because of Canada's involvement in the Gold Cup. He was only a substitute in the Super Cup final last weekend. Had a really good scoring run last season. He netted 19 last campaign. And he's a player that I would expect to start as long as Ivanovic doesn't. Now, they both could start together, but towards the back end of last season, Ivanovic started ahead of Promise David. David was a substitute, scored a lot of goals from off the bench, but he might get a go right from the off tonight. At plus 155, I think he's worth a play in the anytime goal scorer market. He's on penalties when he's on the pitch. He scores headed goals. He got 4 last season. He's a right-footed player. He scored a couple with his left as well. Good all-round striker. Those 19 goals from 17 XG. So although he's overachieved a little bit, it's about the right barometer. He's not overachieved by a huge margin. And if he does start plus 155, I think he's a fair play here. Antwerp did concede a lot of goals. They are missing Alderweireld, who has retired. Channon Sherry, their main goal-getter last season, has also moved on. He's moved back to Dutch football. The player you can see there listed second for Antwerp, Balikwisha, is on Celtic's radar, so he's a little bit unsettled as well. So the play for me tonight is going to be a Promise David plus 155 to score at any time in the first game of the new Pro League season. Duncan correctly writes, it is a little bit complicated, their league season. It's the final year that they're going to do this. They basically play a regular season and then they go into a championship round, a European round and a relegation round for the final 10 games. That's going to be the same this year. Then next season, from what I've been told, they will revert to a more regular league. In terms of where the money's going from our Bet Rivers traders, 98% of the money, 94% of the tickets on Union Saint-Gilloise. And when it comes to the unders and overs, 76% of the money on under, 79% of the tickets on over. The rec cash is coming for over. The professionals are coming for the unders. Unders is the favourite. Let's see what we've got on the comments. Anything about this particular game? Yeah, Duncan talking about the format. Steve says, I love the small talk as well. If you want the picture, you can watch it later. What else have we got here? William Jenner says, hi guys. And this is Fred, says, Producer Toy, how's the humidity over there? Yeah, I suspect it is a bit nasty. Yeah, humidity is pretty noticeable. That's Belgian top flight. Let's bring Tim back in to talk tennis in Washington, where it is very hot. Just a little bit of a recap, maybe. First of all, Tim, when it comes to how the futures, the outrights are here. Taylor Fritz is the favourite, 250. Daniil Medvedev plus 350. Ben Shelton plus 400. Does the futures prices, do they look about right for you?
Yeah, probably. I mean, three of the top five in that market are all in the top half of the draw. They're Fritz, Shelton, and Tiafoe, and obviously Shelton and Tiafoe win tonight, play tonight. So whoever wins that match is going to shorten markedly. And obviously Fritz being the favourite, he plays Davidovic Vakina, and he's a short price favourite to come through that. So the market seems to be a little bit sort of top heavy on the side of the draw there. And Medvedev second favourite. He'll be looking at this as an opportunity, though. He's had a poor season really by his standards. His world ranking has slipped down. I think he's as far down as maybe 14. I think I saw now for Medvedev. So he'll be really looking at this as an opportunity. He plays Karim Moutet tonight, who he'll fancy getting the better of. So yeah, an interesting one just to choose if you wanted to go one way or the other with Tiafoe and Shelton tonight. If you liked either of them. If you get the winner of that match tonight, they're obviously going to shorten markedly. So if you fancy one of those, get on side on that outright market.
That's the futures. Just to look at the futures, Tim, you have got some thoughts and some potential investments in that Ben Shelton Francis Tiafoe match here. As we can see, Shelton on the money line -210, Tiafoe +165, -2.5. The handicap given there with Shelton giving the games away, and the under and over total there is 23.5. Talk us through your musings here. Have we got any plays for the Shelton Tiafoe game?
Yeah, potentially. I mean, these guys have met 3 times before, all on hard courts. 2 of those have come at the US Open, and Shelton actually leads their head-to-head 2-1. But they both won each match at the US Open. Shelton won there in a 5th set last year. Shelton was very impressive against Diallo yesterday, winning 6-3, 6-2, and I think he won 93% of his first serve points, served 16 aces, and he didn't even face a break point. So playing really well here, Shelton. And Tiafoe, on the other hand, he only won 74% of his first serve points yesterday, but he did save 4 out of the 5 break points he faced in his straight sets victory. Shelton actually leads their head-to-head service points won and return points won totals 103 to 99. So he's just shading that at the moment. And but with Tiafoe, this is, I mean, I think the guy spoke on the Betting Weekly Game Bet Match show at the start of the week. Tiafoe, this is a big motivator for him, this being his home tournament. So he'll be looking to get a victory here. But I thought the best way I looked at it was over 2.5 sets. I quite liked a +128. I think in all 3 matches these guys have met, they've shared the first 2 sets. So whoever's won the first set has lost the second, and vice versa. So I just thought that was probably a good way of looking at it. And with Shelton looking to be playing some pretty decent tennis, and Tiafoe being massively motivated, and just looking at their past history of having very close contests, I thought that was the best way of looking at it, going over 2.5 sets.
+128 if you want to get involved with Tim's play on the Tiafoe Shelton game, which comes up a little later. Now, just a reminder that if you like what you hear on our shows, then you can sign up for our newsletter, get exclusive tips and the free Insider magazine. Sign up for free at bettingweeklystudios.com. That's where you can get the newsletter and the Insider. We talked about the Belgian game. That is live on the website and on the app. Plenty of soccer stream. Blackburn Rovers against Elche, which is a club friendly, as is Crawley against Crystal Palace. We've got Fredrikstad against Strom's Godset. And let me just tell you what Mr. Steve Wiss has said about this particular game. I'll just get my phone out. I beg your pardon. It says nothing really in the Norwegian game for those that miss Steve. And I did see someone saying that they missed Steve. Was it Noah? Sorry that you're missing him, Noah. But look, this is what Steve said to me. I said, do you fancy anything in any of the sort of Scandinavian games tonight? He says, nothing in the one Norwegian game. Strom Godset have lost 9 straight, but the handicap against them is something like -1.25. So it's a sort of no bet when it comes to Steve. Sorry that you're missing Steve. No, you'll have to put up with us. We've also got some Danish football, Irish soccer, and indeed plenty of tennis, plus the World Match Play darts as well. If you want to get involved in that, and if you want to watch it as well, you can do. A look at the MLS card for you tonight. Lots of matches coming up. in Major League Soccer. I thought this was a pretty tough card. Crew are the favourites at home to Orlando. Orlando have only lost 2 away, a joint fewest in the East, so I'm not quite sure about the prices there. The Revs at minus money don't make much appeal against Montreal. Montreal have had a shocking campaign, the bottom of the East, but the Revs have only won twice at home. Dynamo host the Galaxy. Galaxy, given the fact that they are the MLS Cup holders, having won it last year, they've had a shocking season. Dynamo have only won 1 of their last 5 at home, however. The Dallas-New York City FC game, almost pick 'em. 7 home losses in the West for Dallas, which is the joint most. I thought, can I get with New York City FC? I started to go back through the archive. They can't win away from home against Western Conference opposition. They haven't beaten a Western Conference side away from home since 2022. Puts me off New York City FC. Phil Neville's at the Timbers still somehow. They're having a shocker run. They've lost their last 4 away from home. I did look at this one potentially for overs, 3-3, the reverse fixture against the 2 at Providence Park. The head-to-head says goals, but it's massively factored in. The goal line is over 3.5, so I've left that one alone. But the interesting one, I think, is the Nashville game at San Diego. San Diego, an expansion side, having a really good season. They are top of the West, and Nashville going really well in the East. They're second in the East. In terms of the Supporters' Shield standings, Nashville are second, though San Diego fifth, 3 points between the two. But the interesting thing for me looking at this one, given the prices here with San Diego at plus 128, I thought that a lot of the points accrued have been earlier on in the season, and their form has just fallen a little bit. Just 1 win in their last 4. Whereas Nashville, much better form. They've won their last 2, both to nil. Walker Zimmerman, who missed a little bit of the summer season, has started the last 2 games. Really good, solid defender, American international. He's been back the last 2. They've won 7 of their last 8 and only 1 defeat in their last 18 in all competitions. That does include a couple of US Open Cup games as well. A lot of that is factored into those odds, obviously. What might not be is the fact that the expected goal differential for San Diego is pretty low considering to where they are in the standings. Plus 5.9 ranks behind both LAFC and Vancouver. Nashville, incidentally, plus 16 expected goal difference. Much, much better. And there's just that sense that San Diego have overachieved here. They've scored 47 goals from 39.1 XG. I just think Nashville don't get beat. You can bet them with a quarter ball start at minus 127. If it's a draw, it's a half win. That looks a little bit of value to me, and I wouldn't put anybody off betting Nashville to win here. Just a reminder of the prices. They're plus 180, but get the draw on side to a certain extent as well, and I don't think you're going to go far wrong. That would be my particular play when it comes to the MLS action tonight. Tristan asking me about any thoughts on the overs and unders first games of the season. Do you know what? It's not something that I've done, and it's something that I usually would do, but I'll probably end up doing it for the I will end up doing it for the Premier League, that's for sure. Mikael says Randa's team total over 1.5. Going to counter and punish AGF. Stephen Lynn says Nashville, Mukhtar shots and Sturridge goals. Hani Mukhtar has been brilliant, hasn't he, in Major League Soccer? He came over a few years ago now when I used to commentate on MLS, and he was always a good player. I think he's still scoring goals again. Is he now? Is it 3 in his last 5 or something like that? What else have we got here? Steve says right on with Nashville, and with you, they've been one of the few teams fun to watch. Yeah, they're a good team. And yes, it's away from home. Winning in Major League Soccer away from home is never easy. But I think if you get the draw on side somehow, you're not going to go too far wrong. That's MLS. Let's move back to the tennis with Tim. Let's tackle the women's action, Tim, in Washington. First of all, just a quick recap on how the outright market is, the futures. Emma Raducanu here, incredibly second. How has that happened? Nigel Seeley, if he wasn't at the Oasis concert tonight, I don't know what he'd be shouting at the screen at the moment. How is Raducanu plus 230? Rybakina is our plus 140 favourite. Give us your thoughts on the futures here for the WTA event, Tim.
Yeah, well, a little bit like the men's. This is sort of dominated by the draw. Rybakina, who is now the highest seed left, she's your plus 140 favourite. She plays Magdalena Frech tonight, and then which she will play the winner of Leylah Fernandez and Taylor Townsend, which she'll be a heavy favourite to come through as well if she comes through tonight. And then on the opposite side of the draw, Raducanu, she plays Sakkari, and she's got a very good record against Sakkari, so she'll be confident getting through. But then she'd face a tricky semi-final if she gets through tonight against either Clara Towson or Anna Kalinskaya, who is starting to show a bit of form too. So I think that plus 230 is fairly short. If I wanted to be on one of the market leaders, I think I'd trust probably Rybakina perhaps a little bit more than Raducanu. I mean, I forget myself that the only tournament Raducanu's won is the US Open, and not a bad one to win for your only victory, but that is still the only event she's won. So
I mean, that is incredible, isn't it? That's just incredible that she's not won again. I mean, is there any sort of parallels with other players that have just popped up to win a major and not done anything else again, men's or women's game? I mean,
the way she did it, coming through qualifying in that year and not losing a set and pretty much just coming from completely nowhere to do it. I think it's probably might not be seen again in our lifetime anyway, but she is starting to show a bit of form, to be fair to her. When she lost to Sabalenka at Wimbledon, she played a pretty decent match, and now she has found a bit of form. I think she's won 4 of the last 5 matches now. But Sakkari, who she plays this evening, she's started to find a bit of form for herself, and she's got a good record here. So that's an interesting match we can have a look at, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, as if by magic, here we go. These are the prices. Raducanu is the favourite, minus 250 here. Sakkari at plus 200, 2-1 on the money line. Give us your thoughts on this one, Tim. Where's the best bets, do you think?
Well, Raducanu, she leads the head-to-head 3-0. And I think with 2 of those wins coming on the hard courts, and she's actually never dropped a set against Sakkari. And I think in all the sets she's won, she's never lost more than 4 games in a single set as well. So she's been fairly dominant in this head-to-head, and she actually leads their service points won and return points won totals 115.6 to just 84 in those matches. So completely dominant for Raducanu, and she'll be fairly confident of coming through this. She was really excellent against Osaka yesterday. She never lost her serve, and she only faced 2 break points in those matches. But on the other side of the coin, Sakkari, she also served excellent yesterday. She never lost her serve either. When she faced Emma Navarro, I think she won 77% of points on her first serve. So I think with both of them serving so well and Sakkari sort of finding a bit of form, I think the last time she played it was 2 years ago, and she actually made the final. I think if she's ever going to give Raducanu a game, it could well be today. And just looking at the markets, I found a few of them tough to split, but I thought first set over 9.5 total games at plus 108 was quite a good bet, just considering how well they both served yesterday. Raducanu yesterday and Sakkari the day before. Very confident on their first serves, not facing any break points for Raducanu anyway, and Sakkari winning 77% of those points, like we said. I thought over 9.5 games, that could be a tight first set. So I thought plus money, that was a fair way to look at that, because although Raducanu does have excellent stats against Sakkari looks to be just finding a bit of form, and obviously she goes well here. So I think that's going to give her half a chance.
Duncan says Raducanu a nightmare to bet on. She turns into prime Federer when you back against her. Plays like me when you're on her. That's very true.
Yeah.
Says
Nigel will
Sakkari's
echo that, I think.
Yeah. I mean, myself and Nigel have we've had a nightmare with her, getting it wrong left, right, and centre. Says surely Sakkari is the value play here. I mean, you sort of half made a case at sort of 2-1 that she might be a little bit of value. If someone wanted a $10 play on the money line, would you say Sakkari at 2s is a better play?
I mean, possibly on the stats, Raducanu's that service points won and return points won total would just put me off a little bit. Right. She's been completely dominant. I mean, it gets a little bit, but 115 to 85 pretty much is a real dominant stat there. But she does go well at this tournament, and she did look good against Navarro day before yesterday. But Raducanu does look to be coming into a bit of form. She was excellent against Osaka there yesterday, and pretty good against Kostyuk in the round before. So, I mean, these women can run in and out of form fairly quickly. So I just thought, with Sakkari perhaps liking this venue and the good of form Raducanu's in, I thought the best way to go was the over first set games with the way they sort of served yesterday, if they can continue that on.
Like that play. Willie K says hard to fade. Raducanu's form at the moment, in my opinion. Let's talk about the other match that you've highlighted for us. This is Rybakina, the tournament favourite, against Magdalena Frech, if I've got that right. Rybakina is short price favourite, minus 530. Unless we're one of those Bet Rivers bettors that are putting $40,000 on at that sort of price, it's not for us. What is for us, Tim? What have you worked out here? Where's an angle in for bettors?
Yeah, well, these two have met twice before, but you can pretty much write off their first game because that was 7 years ago in a Challenger event. But Rybakina did win the other game last year in Dubai. She won that quite a tight match, 7-6, 3-6, 6-4, just leading the service points won, return points won, 102 to 98 in Rybakina's favour. Frech arrived here without back-to-back wins since the Australian Open, so she's been delighted to have come through. Certainly yesterday against Venus Williams, where all the pressure would have been on her shoulders, because you want to be beating a 45-year-old in all fairness. So she'll be happy with that. And she actually had an excellent end to 2024, Frech. So she's got a lot of world ranking points to defend. So reaching this quarterfinal will be good for her, and she'll be looking to try and press on there. Rybakina, I mean, she does play a really high level, but the thing with her, it doesn't always last for that long a period, and then she can go from hitting fantastic level to a big dip in a matter of games. And I thought the over 20.5 games was a little bit low here. And I think I saw that priced up at plus 100. I saw it at over 19.5 was minus 122. But
That's
yeah,
right.
I think if you just move that toggle across a bit to over 20.5, you get plus money, or plus 100, so even money. So I thought that was a fair way to go. She can go from the sort of excellent, unbeatable play to the other side of it. And I just think to ask Rybakina to play a real clean game here for a couple of sets, I mean, she might still do that, and you could still cover that over 20.5. But I think Frech will give us something to think about here. Not the most powerful player, but gets a lot of balls back, and hopefully we'll find a few unforced errors coming from Rybakina's racket at some stage in the game. So I thought, over 20.5 games there, if you just move that toggle across from the 19.5 up to there to get a little bit of extra value.
Yeah, it's certainly something you can do across a lot of the sports. If you want a little bit of a bigger price, if you think that's the way the value is. Willie K's been back on. I just want to take it back to those outrights. He's suggesting here that Kaliskaya at 10-1 is interesting, is the quote. Your thoughts on Anna Kaliskaya in terms of the futures, Tim? One that was on your shortlist, or one that you dismissed straight away? What do you think?
Yeah, she's found a bit of form here in Washington. She beat Raducanu in the first round, and then Magdalena both in straight sets yesterday. And she's got a fairly decent hard court. This is her kind of surface. Clay isn't her favourite cup of tea, and nor is the grass. So she's found a bit of form here in Washington, and she plays Clara Towson tonight, who's played a lot of tennis up so far this season. So Kaliskaya will be looking to press on there, and if she can take care of Towson, those odds will, I imagine they'll be at least halved, if not slightly more, with our semi-final opponent being on the other side of the draw, being either Raducanu or Sakkari, and I don't think she'd fear either of those too much if she came through that game tonight. So I think that plus 1,000, could look a bit of value, and I certainly wouldn't put you off.
10-1 at the moment. Plenty of comments coming in. AZ Flights talking about Dennis Bouanga. Yeah, he was at Saint Etienne. He's had a good time of things, hasn't he, in Major League Soccer? Going for five straight games with a goal would tie for MLS record. Is that right? I bow to your, if I was still commentating on the game, surely there's been a player that's scored in more than 5 straight games. But I know he scored a lot of goals, hasn't he? Dennis Bouanga. Did he get 20 last season? I know he's got quite a few this campaign. But yeah, great shout from AZ Flights if you're playing on Major League Soccer tonight. To wrap up with the soccer, we have covered it over the course of the tournament. So as we mentioned right at the top of the show, we've got to give you some thoughts on the Women's Euro final, which is on Sunday, midday Eastern, and Spain are minus 134 here to win in 90 minutes. with England, as you can see, plus 360, the tie plus 265. Now, these two teams did meet in the Nations League earlier this calendar year. England won 1-0 at home in February and Spain won 2-1 at home. Spain incidentally were minus 200 when they beat England. It was a come-from-behind win. England won by 1-0. And of course, it's the repeat of the World Cup final as well. Spain won 1-0, and it's a repeat of the Euro semi from 2022 in which England won 2-1. They've been tight contests between the two. I mean, England just keep on getting through somehow, don't they? I mean, very lucky against Italy. They won 2-1, of course, in extra time. A late rebounded penalty by Chloe Kelly. Penalties against Sweden after being 2-0 down. They were beaten by France on match day 1. And when you look at Spain's progress, if you look at sort of some of the metrics here, the expected goals metrics, I mean, they've won every single one of their games so far, and the only team to get more than one expected goals against them or register more than one expected goals against them was Italy. That form line through Italy suggests that these two should be a little closer. Spain do dominate possession against every single team. That last meeting between the pair, they had 19 shots to 4 for England, 5 shots on target. England had 2 shots on target, and they did win by 2-1, and they were a lot shorter. Incidentally, when they met in the World Cup final, it was pretty much a pick 'em contest. Spain were plus 170, England were plus 180. That's how close they were. Are we saying that Serena Wigman's team have regressed that much here? It was interesting speaking to one or two people ahead of coming on the show tonight. We all think that the way that England have just somehow found a way to qualify to the next round, get out the group stage. It's that classic as their name on the trophy. I mean, as bettors, we don't want that. We want hard facts and we want some significant metrics, but they keep defying teams in game, going behind, coming back to win. They're plus 200 just to lift the trophy. That gets you penalties, extra time, and of course in the 90 minutes as well. The under and over line there, minus 122 is over, minus 109 under. In terms of goal scorers, now we've put Chloe Kelly in. Will she start? She's not started any game for England so far, but she has been a difference maker, as we know. She is plus 340 to score at any time. I thought a better bet for Chloe Kelly if she starts, and this is a great thing about the Bet Rivers rules. She's minus 115 to have one or more shot on target. So over 0.5 shots on target. Now, if she doesn't start, then the bet is void anyway. So you haven't got to worry about that. She got 3 shots, 1 on target off the bench when she came on and made a difference, of course, by scoring the winner late on against Italy in the semi. I thought that she was potentially a bit of a value play if she starts. Alessia Russo, plus 240 anytime, did score against Spain in the Nations League. Lauren James, someone's just put up a Lauren James pick. Who was it? Stephen said Lauren James plus 900 anytime assist. Wandale hit a long shot assist. Yeah, she got taken off, didn't she, in the semi-final? She's a fantastic footballer. There's no doubt about that. What else we got here? Duncan says, good. Did that bet in the semi-final cash in the first 10 minutes? Yeah, well, here we go. Grazer, Lucy Bronze, over 1.5 fouls plus money. Now then, again, just before we came on air, this is what we do. We get in touch with our pals. I said to Lewis, who put the bet up in midweek, and it cashed within 10 minutes. You're absolutely right, Duncan. I said to Lewis, I said, you do realise that Lucy Bronze is plus money again for over 1.5. He says, I'll send you the stats. So these are the stats from Lewis that he put up in midweek, and it was a winning bet after 10 minutes. In 12 knockout games for Chelsea and England, she's made 24 fouls, making at least a foul in 11 of those matches and clearing the 2 or more line on 9 occasions. The other thing to consider here is that England will have a lot less of the ball. Spain absolutely dominate. And as Lucy Bronze is a right back, she's got a lot of defending to do. And I think at plus 115, the last I saw, to make 2 or more fouls. Let me just make sure I've got that right. I mean, she is a bet and a half, I think, isn't she? So Chloe Kelly minus 115 to have a shot on target if she starts. Lucy Bronze going to take that one from Lewis to have over 1.5 fouls at plus 115. And if I was pressed on just who to play England or Spain, I think I'd have to play England on an Asian line. Plus 0.75 is minus 124 if they lose by a goal, which is when they have lost to Spain, World Cup final and that Nations League. It's only been by a goal, so it's only a half loss. But just the way that England are getting their way through this tournament, you just sense it might be their year as it was last time. They are the defending champs and World Cup runners-up. It's going to be a decent game on Sunday. This is where the money's been going, incidentally, for the game. Money line, 62% on England. 86% of the tickets on Spain. So the pro money on England, the rec money on Spain. 77% of the money, 82% of the tickets on overs. We've had a $1,200 play on Spain to win the competition, $800 play on under 2.5 goals, and $500 on over 4.5 total offsides at plus 135. And just one or two trends here as well. The over 2.5 goals market has hit in each of England's last 5 European Championship matches. England has conceded at least 1 goal in 4 of the last 5 Euro matches, and unders has hit in each of Spain's last 2 in the European Championships. They did miss a couple of penalties, though, against Switzerland. So we sort of started with England, but watch out for that bronze play. Watch out for Chloe Cam. I mean, surely she's got to start, you would have thought, after what she did, not just in that game, but in previous games as well. We're going to get Tim's best bet before we wrap up. Let's just wrap up the comments as well. What have we got here? Bronze will be lumping her old teammates, so it seems an obvious bet. Duncan says it was almost as if Bronze was on the fouls bet herself. Yeah, I mean, one of the first challenges, which I thought was yellow card offence. She didn't get a yellow card for it. I mean, it was a horror challenge. It was the Premier League. She would have been sent off. She was flying into absolutely everything. That's the play for us when it comes to the Euros final on Sunday. Let's just bring Tim back in for the final time here before we call it a draw for today and indeed the week. You've given us bets in 3 of the tennis matches that are going to start Washington live, of course, on the Bet Rivers app shortly. What is your best play, Tim, would you say, over in those 3? Which one would you put up as your nap?
Just before I get to that, I'm sold on that bronze bet. That sounds great stat work there.
It's from Lewis. Lewis found it. It won in midweek, and we're going to play it again on Sunday.
Yeah, well, if you've got coming in 10 minutes the other day, you've obviously got an extra 80 minutes on top of that as well. So, like you say, with Spain having the majority of the ball, you'd like to think it's even more likely. So, I'm sold on that if no one else is anyway. But as far as the tennis goes in Washington, I thought probably of those 3 I liked, I think we'll probably go for the biggest prize one, which is over 2.5 sets in the Shelton versus Tiafoe game at plus, I think it was plus 138. Let me just double check that while I'm here. Plus 128, sorry. Little small leans for first set over 9.5 games in the Sakkari, Raducanu and Magdalena, Frech, Rybakina being over 20.5 total games at plus 100. But yeah, I think the biggest prize to 3, they're over 2.5 sets in the Shelton Tiafoe game. They've shared the first 2 sets in all their head-to-head matches so far. So hopefully they can continue that trend tonight and we can cash that winner.
Yeah, A says, going back to the Euro final, he says, I've got a sneaky feeling it will go to extra time. God, if you're on plus 0.75, you're going to cash that. It would not surprise me. I think it's just going to be one of those games on Sunday. It'll be good to watch. Tim, enjoyed your company as per usual. Many thanks for popping on the show this Friday. We've still got plenty more to come for you today. Double Doug, who's going to present hardball and fast break for us a little bit later when we talk Major League Baseball, and we've got all the latest prop plays and so on when it comes to the basketball as well. We're going to be back on Monday, but from myself and from Tim, it is goodbye. Many thanks to everyone who's tuned in over the course of this Friday morning or afternoon or whatever time it is, wherever you are watching. Good luck tonight. Good luck with your weekend bets. We are back on Monday.